Trello in its very basic is a collaboration tool. And when we say collaboration tool, you can say it's a project management tool that can manage all the work that you usually do in your project in the form of cards and boards, right? So boards will be sort of a pipeline or the workflow that can be defined within Trello, and the work that you need to manage as part of that project will be defined as a card, and it will be sort of a visually available to you on the board. So everyone in the team or in the project can basically go ahead and collaborate using the board that is available. And because Trello is cloud, so it can be accessed by anyone in the team as far as you have given access to those boards, and then teams can collaborate and work very efficiently. Personally, I find Trello very effective for my piece of work that sometimes I used to manage. And it has been really efficient to churn out the task for even the personal purposes. In the project space, it will be very simple to set up and go ahead with the flow or go ahead with the actual deliverables that you need to provide to your customer or to the clients. So let's see what exactly their website says. So Trello helps teams to move work forward. You can collaborate, you can manage projects and reach new productivity peaks. And this is absolutely true. I mean, it makes your setup, project setup, the project management setup, the work setup so easy that straight away you can jump into the work. Okay. And it is free. So there are different pricing models, but for the personal users, for small teams, it will always be free, and it is free. So I'll show you how you can sign up for the free account. Okay. If you scroll down, there are many other features that you can look into. I won't go into those features into much detail as part of this tutorial. I'll show you how you can basically sign up, and then in future tutorials, I'll show you how you can go ahead and start using Trello. Okay. So board, then you have these cards, you have the automation that you can utilize. We'll also cover how you can automate or use the automation that is provided within Trello very efficiently to maximize the productivity. Okay. Then there is a lot of integration that is available that we'll also see. And in terms of pricing, we'll see, let's go to the pricing and see what all pricing models are available. So it is free, which is for individuals and teams looking to organize anything, right? So they don't charge as far as you are using whatever is available here, right? So it has unlimited card members up to 10 boards per workspace. That's the limitation of the free account. Okay. But if you are a big team and you want to go further, you can go for this standard, which is basically $5 per user per month. Okay. And this is billed annually. So you will get more features. So you can go through these options. But if you are a big organization, obviously you can go for premium and enterprise, depending on what all features are required by the teams that are using Trello for managing their projects within your organization. Okay. There is a comparison chart as well. Go through it. I won't go into detail. This will help you to identify which plan works best. But what, as part of this tutorial, I'll be doing is I'll be starting with the free tutorial, free account, and show you what all is available in free account. And then we'll jump into the premium section of the Trello features and show you what you can do with the premium features. If whatever has been covered as part of the free account is suitable for your projects, that's well enough. Trello is available for you free forever, and you can keep using it. If you want more, go ahead and subscribe for the premium or standard depending on the requirement. Everything will be covered in this tutorial, so do not worry about it. Okay, let's quickly go ahead and sign up for the free account. So to sign up, simply click on sign up, and you can provide the email with which you want to sign up, or simply sign up with different options that are available here. I'll use Google to sign up, and I'll choose my email ID. And once you sign up, this is where you will land up. Okay. So you need to set up the workspace. So your Trello workspace is the place where you and your collaborators, so for example, your team, can quickly organize and start getting things done. So this is basically, when we say workspace, you can think of it as a team that wants to deliver certain project, and a team can deliver any sort of project. It's not necessary it's just a software development project or a marketing project or HR or construction. Any domain that you can think of, you can utilize Trello to organize your work and deliver the work items that are there within the project. Okay. So in the workspace, I will simply say RCV tutorial workspace 1. Okay. And then in order to invite other team members, you can simply start typing in the email for the team members whom you want to invite. Okay. So I'll skip this step as of now and I'll do it later. Okay. Once you are done, click on continue. And then you will be asked about the Trello Premium for free 30 days. We do not want to do it at the moment. I'll do it later when we cover the premium features. So I'll start the free trial at the moment. Sorry, we need to go back. I do not want to start the free trial. I need to skip that step because, okay, so I'll simply click on start without free trial. Okay, and that's it. So make sure that you start without the free trial or the free version of Trello. Okay. Once you have signed up, this is where you will land up. Okay. Now this is my workspace where I can start managing the work. Okay. There are boards that I can create and I'll cover all of that later. Then you have different options and then I can also invite people directly from here in the workspace. Now this is one of the workspace or the project that you can think of. Okay. If I have to use Trello for other team in my organization, okay, I'll click on this plus and then create other workspace there or other team there. Okay, so I'll say RCV. Say for example, I have a team of iOS developers as well. So I'll say RCV iOS team, and then in the workspace type, you can select the type of the team that you are creating this workspace for. Okay, so you can see you can use it for any of the purposes, right? You can use for engineering, sales, marketing, or anything else. So it's just how you want to organize your work. It will provide you flexibility to do it. So I'll choose engineering, IT, and then provide a description there, which is optional if you don't want, but it is highly recommended you provide the description and then click continue. Now in the members, you can simply start typing in the email and invite the members, or you can say I'll do this later. Okay, so now you will see two teams are available there. Okay, and if you go to this top workspaces, you will see the current workspace is the RCV iOS team and the next workspace is RCV tutorials workspace. Okay, let's rename this as well so you see that how you can rename. So you can simply click on edit workspace detail and I'll say this is the Android. Okay, then you can choose the type. It is again engineering, and in the short name I will simply say Android team and save. All right, so now you will see two of the teams or the workspaces have been created. So workspace you can consider in Trello as the teams, and these teams can now start planning their work and progress the work and collaborate between the cards and the work that we'll be discussing in the next tutorial. The first thing once you sign up will be asked for creating the workspace, and workspace is nothing but, say for example, a team within your organization. So a team will be managing their work, so you can create a workspace and that will be a workspace assigned to a particular team. What I have done in the previous tutorial while sign up, I have created two teams and these I have named two workspaces and these I have named as teams. So the team iOS and Android will manage their work within these workspaces. So that's the first thing. If you go to this left hand icon here, you will see that you can switch directly from here to Jira, Confluence, or Trello. And because I have signed up with this particular email for Jira and Confluence as well, and Trello is a product from Atlassian as well, so you can directly switch between the applications. Okay, so now we are on Trello. Then in the workspaces, you will see what all workspaces are being created in this particular account. In the recent, you will see any boards that have been created. So since we haven't created any board, then it won't show any board. Now, managing work within the Trello is pretty simple. You create a workspace, which is a correlation to the team, and then teams create the board. And board is nothing but a simple, say, Scrum and Kanban board if you're coming from a software development background, which will have the columns. And within those columns, you can create your tasks and see the work items on that board visually and see where those work items are. So we'll cover all of that, how you can create and customize the workflow and see on the board. But that's the second step. So this is what you'll see in the board. Then in the start, if you have starred any of the board, you can quickly access them. Create is the button, which you will find very similar to what you will see in the other Atlassian products, right? So you can create a board, start with a template, create a workspace or create a business workspace, which is a premium feature, but you can create a workspace directly from here. You can create a board. So workspace, say for example, you want to create a new team or you want to create a new workspace for a team within the project, you create a workspace from here. Okay. Then in the right hand side to search, you can search the cards and things like that from here directly. This is more of a information. This is for the help, the notification that you can get, and you will get the desktop notification if you allow desktop notification as well. Similarly, in the right hand side to change any of your personal account settings, you go to this icon here and you can go to the profile and visibility, activity, card settings, etc. Okay, so if I go to profile and visibility, you will see all the details about my profile. So if you are logged in or you have been invited, you go to your profile setting, you will be able to change the username, the bio, etc. The activity, basically you'll see what all workspaces are there, any activity that has happened. The cards will be displayed here. And then the settings, you can go to settings and change the settings there. So there are a lot of options around the settings. You can change the account detail, the language, notification frequency, etc., suggestions. So all of that, if you go through the settings, you will be able to understand what all options can you do. Another good thing is you can configure two-step verification, right? So to keep your account more secure, you can enable that as well. Okay. You can also download the personal data. So that's about the profile and visibility. In the activity, it will show you all the activity cards and settings. So this is what we have covered, right? You will get the help if you click on this help. Shortcuts, if I go to shortcuts, you can see all the shortcuts that you can utilize on the Trello will be available here. To navigate the cards back, you can simply utilize these shortcuts and become sort of a pro in using Trello. Okay, so there are a lot of options here, but we'll cover them into a separate tutorial. So this is a brief about what you will see on the Trello sign up and how you can navigate through those details. So once I go to the Trello icon here, the home, then I can switch between the workspaces. So at the moment, if you'll see, I'm in the iOS stream, right? So this is the iOS space, and here I can work with the workspace. So if I have to edit the workspace detail, I'll click on edit icon and I'll specify the website. So for example, I'll say what is the website for this particular space, and then the name, short name I can update here, and the description. Save it, and then you can use the templates, direct templates out of the drop down. Okay, so because this is the engineering project that we created, so this is what we selected, and now there are Kanban template, sprint retrospective, and other templates that are relevant for the software development. You can browse the full template gallery from here. In the workspace table, this is premium feature, so it won't be available for the free. It is in the members, you can invite the team members. Okay, so let's go ahead and invite the team members. So I have created some of the emails and we'll simply copy the team members email and invite those members. So paste the email address or drop in the email address for the members of the team that are part of this iOS team and simply invite to workspace. Okay, so you'll see that all of the members have been invited and they haven't been confirmed. Okay, so you can remove the invitation from here, or you can invite more workspace members there. Okay, so at the moment you will see the members are 6. If you go to settings, you will see all the workspace settings that you can do. So workspace visibility, if you'll see, at the moment it is private. What this means is that this workspace is private and it cannot be indexed or viewed by anyone else outside this workspace. So whosoever is the member that has been invited and the person who is managing this workspace will be able to view this workspace if it is a private. You can change it to public. If you click on this change, this public workspace will be the workspace which is available to anyone who has access to this link. Okay, so it will show up in the search engine on the Google, and only those who are invited to the workspace will be able to add and edit, but it will be visible to everyone. So if you want a workspace to be public and want it to be visible to everyone, then you can change it to public. I'll keep it as private because I do not want everyone else to view my workspace, but this is an option which I'll cover in some other workspace. Okay, the other one maybe we can change. The next thing is you have this other upgrade to premium options that you will get a notification. Do not worry about that. And then upgrade workspace is where again the premium, they'll ask for the premium upgrade. So we do not want to do it at the moment. All right, so this is about the workspace and the brief introduction of all the features that are available there and within the workspace. The next thing is how you can plan your work within the workspace. So to plan your work within the workspace, the team will start with creation of the board and they'll start planning their work. Okay, so that's what will come next, and it's that easy to start planning your work and doing the work within Trello. So with just 20-30 minutes of your time, you can sign up, you can create a workspace, invite everyone who is part of that team, and then create a board and start planning your work. So previously we have understood about the free sign up of the Trello account, then creating the workspaces, and you can see two of the workspaces that have been created, which is RCV Android team and RCV iOS team. Now these workspaces you can think of as the teams, and within these teams there could be multiple projects, right? So the boards can be correlated with the projects that are within the particular team. So team can have just single board or they can have multiple boards. So say for example, I'll go to this RCV iOS team, and if I go to the workspace here, I can click directly from here and it will redirect me to this page of the RCV iOS team, and this is the private team, so it is only available for the people who are invited to view or join this particular team. Now board is something which is, you can consider, is a project that is within this particular team, right? So let's quickly understand creation of the first board and then the workflow within the board. Okay, so to create a board, either click on this plus sign or click on this create a board. Okay, so if you click on create a board or the plus sign, it will ask you for the board title, and then there is an option for changing the theme directly from here. So because we want to create it in the iOS team, we'll just keep it as is, and then this is workspace visible, right? So all members of this team workspace, iOS team workspace, can see and edit this board. Okay, if you do not want this, then you can keep it private, wherein only board members can see and edit this board. Okay, so I'll keep it as workspace level, but if you want to change it, say for example, this board is very specific to the particular project within the iOS team, okay, then you can keep it private, and then based on the invitation, people will be able to access that particular board. If it is a public, then anyone can see who has the URL. Okay, I'll keep it as workspace visible, and then I'll just say first board, okay, as a title, and then I'll click on create board. Okay, and here in the right hand side there are some of the backgrounds that are available. So if you just want to change the backgrounds, you can change the backgrounds accordingly. I will simply keep it as just a plain background and then create a board. There are many useful templates available within Trello that you can directly use to create the boards. I'll cover that later, but as of now, let's create a first empty board. So click on create board, and as soon as I'll create the board, you will see that the first board has been created, and you will see to do, doing, and done columns being added. Now these columns here are nothing but, you can think of it as a workflow of that particular project that will be utilizing this particular board. Okay, so say for example, let's change it for instead of the first board, I will say iOS documentation project. Okay, something like that, right? So there is, say for example, there is a documentation work that needs to be done for the iOS project. Then there is a team for doing the documentation. They can manage their work within this particular board. Okay, now once you have these columns already, you can add another column if you want to. So you can see that I am getting this add another list. So by default, I'm getting this list, and this is known as list basically, by the way, in Trello. So a list is nothing but a workflow that the work items within your project are going to follow from start to finish, right? So if I talk about this documentation project, so what tasks might be required to do the documentation of any of the software development activity that is happening? So say for example, if there is any feature for which there is a knowledge base article that needs to be written, then that needs to be added in a work item or in the to-do list, right? So say for example, document KB for feature A, I would say. Okay, so say for example, there is a feature A that is being developed, then that is what the work item can be, or that's what the card is all about. Okay, so you can keep adding these work items there. Okay, let me cancel that. Let me edit it. I'll copy that and paste it here. I'll add another card. So let's say we have certain tasks to be done as part of this documentation project. So we'll be adding the items there. The card is nothing but the granular work item that needs to be completed as part of that project. Okay, so document a knowledge base article for feature A, and now this particular work item can be assigned to the person who needs to work on this, right? So you can simply click on it and then you can say members. Okay, and in the members, say for example, you just add the members that need to basically collaborate on this. Okay, so we add the members, and once you add the members there, so whosoever needs to work on that particular work item, you can add single member or multiple team members. If they need to collaborate and work, then you can also add more members from here. Okay, so here if you see on this particular detail here, the board members, I have added these members whom we had invited in the workspace, right? So these members I can also add from the workspace that we have in Trello instance to this particular board, right? So we can simply say, let's add the existing members that we have into our board. Okay, so all of these members that we have selected from the workspace have been added as part of this particular board. So once the members have been added, so at the moment you will see that all of these 4 people need to collaborate and work on it. If you do not want them to be part, you can basically click on that and icon and then remove from card. Okay, so say for example, this is only one person that needs to work, just add one member and then close the card, or provide more details basically here. So in the description we'll provide more details. So say for example, document the KB article and publish for review. Okay, so some description that will help the person to understand what exactly is the work item and what needs to be done. Okay, then the right hand side you have this labels, which is very important. So label, you can label the items, the work items, based on different color coding, and you can also create new labels. So say for example, I can generate a label, okay, and I can simply edit it and I can specify the name of the label. Okay, so say for example, I know that this task is the documentation task, so I can say documentation and save it, right? So you will see the documentation table or documentation label has been saved here. Okay, similarly I can create other labels as well and use those into the work item or the cards that will be created. Okay, so this is about label. Then you have this checklist, which is very important. So checklist, what exactly it does is, it is something, say for example, this particular work item requires a lot of different tasks that need to be completed. Then we can create a checklist. So we can say tasks to be completed and add the checklist here. Okay, so we can say task to be completed and add the checklist, and now in the items we can start typing in the checklist. So we can say task 1 add, and then task 2. Okay, so say for example, this particular work item, the documentation needs to have all of these tasks to be completed. Only then you can say that this is something which has been completed, right? So now at the task level as well, I can specify that this particular task needs to be assigned to a particular member, right? But this is only available in the premium feature, so it is not available to the free users. Okay, so in this particular case, we can't do that unless until we start the free trial for the premium. But this is good enough for us to add the checklist, and say for example, once the person whosoever is working on this has the work item completed, so they can say yes, this task is done, and you will see the automatic marker or the timeline or the progress of the overall work item will be updated. So once the 2 items have been completed of 4, 50% of the task has been done. Okay, so this is what the checklist is all about. Then in the dates, we can specify that this particular task needs to be completed by 8th of October. Okay, and you can also specify the start date. So then you can specify the reminder. So when do you want the reminder to be? So 1 day before. Okay, and we can save that there is a due date on this particular card item. Then in the attachment, I can attach the screenshot or any other details. Basically, say for example, I want to add some screenshot or the logs, anything we can attach from computer and from other integrations that are available as well. So for example, Google Drive or Dropbox, I can attach directly or provide the link to attach any of the screenshots or videos into this particular task. Okay, then in the cover, you will see that, let's say I want to change the cover. Okay, so this will change the cover of this particular task. Okay, so say for example, we can change to this, or say for example this one, and this will update the cover for this particular task, and we can save that. Okay, so this is about some of the details or some of the options that are available at the task level that you can do within Trello. Then there are more details around the power-ups and automation, which we'll cover in a separate tutorial because that's a advanced or more detailed topic. Okay, then in the activity, if you see what all has been performed on this particular task, you'll see all the activity available here. At the bottom in the actions, you can move, copy, or make template. Watch is very important because if you say watch, then any activity that happens on this particular work item, you will be able to get notification. If you uncheck that, so at the moment I'll be able to get notifications. If I uncheck that, then any activity that happens on this task, we won't be notified, or the person who has unchecked that won't be notified. Then you can archive and share this particular task as well. Okay, so once you click on share, you can print or you can export JSON format, or you can embed this card, or you can email this card to the person as well. Okay, so these are some of the details around the task. So once you are done with defining the task, you can simply save it, and you'll see all of the details have been saved here. And now a person who needs to work on this task can start working on it. And once they complete the work or they start the work, they can move it to the next stage, which is doing, right? And once the work has been completed, they can simply update this particular task, and they can say all of the 4 tasks have been completed. Now I have just mentioned task 1, 2, 3, 4, but this will be actual work item. You will describe what exactly the task is all about, right? Similarly, document knowledge base for feature, you will describe actually what will be the details within this task. Okay, so once the work has been done, then they'll update everything and then move it to done, right? So this is how the tasks will move from one state to another state on the first Trello board that we have created, and the list that is there by default. So to do, doing, and done, this is the most basic workflow that you will be finding in any of the projects. So even with your personal tasks, say for example you want to track, you can just specify the work item that you need to do, and then once you are doing those items, you can move it to doing, and then you move it to done. And that's how you usually become more productive personally. And similar is the case for the projects, right? So unless until you have the workflow, you plan everything in the to-do list, and then you assign the work item to the appropriate team members and they start working on it, then you can see the overall progress very clearly on the Trello list. Okay, on the Trello list. If you want to update, say for example, this is a default workflow: to do, doing, done. This is very basic. I do not want this workflow, right? So in that particular case, what I can do is I can simply click here, okay, and say for example I want to change this particular step to in progress. Okay, and then I want to have another status there, in review, right? So once the person has done the work, then the work item needs to go to in review. Okay, so first is in progress, then in review, and then done. Okay, so if that's the case, then we added another column there, in review. Okay, and now the workflow has been updated from to do to in progress to in review and done. Okay, so it is very easy for you to customize this workflow in Trello. Just add another list item there. It will add a column, and you can simply drag and drop these columns to customize the workflow as per the need of your project. Okay, so this is very basic introduction of the Trello board, how you will create your first board, and then how you will update the default list, or which is the workflow underlying the project work that you will be doing, and also some of the details around the cards that you have. So card is the work item basically. So we have covered some of the details around the card and the details that you need to put in the card to make your work efficient and easy to manage within the team. Previously we have created 2 workspaces, right? So iOS and Android, just to show you, let me create a personal workspace and then we'll go through creation of the board and see how we can do the personal projects within Trello, right? So we can manage all our personal work. So say for example, I am a content creator, I manage all my work using the Trello. How can I do that? Okay, so let's create a workspace first and I will name it as RCV personal workspace. Okay, and in the type we just want to choose other, so you can choose anything, it doesn't matter basically. So you can do small business, or I'll choose other, and then the description I'll put just the personal space there. When you are creating the personal spaces and workspaces, then make sure the description is good and self-explanatory, so that if anyone is collaborating, they can go through the description and understand what the workspace is all about. Okay, so let's create this workspace quickly, and then in the workspace member we can invite the members. Okay, but I'll do this later because I'm the only one who is managing the work here. So I'll just keep it as personal workspace. And now we are on the personal workspace. You can see this is the free account. And now I will create a board. So to create a board, I can click on create a board or just plus sign. All right. So simply click on create a board. And I will say, because I produce the course videos, so I will simply say the Trello. Say for example, this board that I'm creating, I will simply say course production. Okay, and then in terms of visibility, I can keep it to the workspace members or keep it private or change it to public. So depending whether I want it to be private to anyone who is only invited to see this particular board can see it. So only board members will be able to see it. But if it is at the workspace level, so any person who is the part of the workspace will be able to view and edit. Okay, public, anyone can. So I'll keep it as default. And then let's go ahead and start with a template. You can choose different backgrounds here. So depending what you want to choose, you can choose. I'll keep it as this one, and then simply let me choose the other one so that it's visible in a better way. You can also get more colors if you want. And then once you have chosen the background color, we'll start with the template. So click on the template, and Trello provides a lot of good templates that you can use out of the box, and it will create a default workflow to manage that particular work. Okay, so say for example, if you see all of these sections here, so you will see team management, sales, support, remote work, right, productivity, personal. So if we go to the personal, right, so in the personal you will see a lot of personal templates that are available, right? So for example, travel, gratitude practice. If you see, there are so many templates that can be utilized, even the meal planning, and all of these are more of a personal level planner that you can utilize and use to plan the personal work within Trello. Okay, so daily task planner is another good one. So you can basically plan all your tasks daily. So if you want to, simply say be more productive and want to manage all the daily plans, you can use this one. So let's see if we have something for the video production. Okay, so we'll simply say course or video. So you'll see that there is e-course workflow. So let's see what it's all about, and it's in the education section. All right, so you'll see, let's see what all it's all about, right? So you have this resources, planning and strategy, then branding. So it gives, this particular template gives us the exact details, basically what all is required when we are doing the video production, okay, or the course production, e-course. So let's say use this template. Okay, and if I just click on create, you can see that this board will be workspace visible. Okay, I can change it, and I can keep the card or I can keep template cards. Okay, so I'll keep them as of now and then simply create it. But for you, because this is just for the learning purpose, we are keeping the cards, but you can just uncheck to create it blank and create your own work item. So let me keep it to explain it and make it quick, and click on create, and you will see that now the board has been created. Okay, the e-course workflow, and I can edit it, right? So I can edit it as as per my naming convention. Okay, so the board name I can edit here. Then I can also edit any of these columns that I do not want, right? So say for example, resources is something which I want to rename, or planning and strategy, branding, creating. So this is a general workflow that is available as part of this particular template, right? So you can create, and then a sales system, launching, and then student relations, right? So this is more of a e-course workflow that usually many of the people who are doing the e-course will follow. Okay, but if I do not want any of the columns there, say for example, sales system, right? So I can click on these ellipses here. Okay, and you can archive this list. Now, deletion of the list or the column is basically, there is a workaround within Trello, which I might cover in the advanced section. But in order to remove this particular column, you can simply go ahead and archive this particular, whatever column you do not need, you can simply go ahead and archive, and that will be hidden and archived and won't be available as part of the workflow. Okay, so that's how you will basically remove the list or the column from the workflow, and whatever is required for you. Say for example, I want to change this workflow names at the top. You can change the headings directly by clicking and renaming this. Okay, then if you see this particular template here in the board, these are some of the stickers, right? So where you can add these stickers from. So if you go to this show menu at the top, right, and click on the menu, you will see that there is a stickers option here. Okay, you can see about this board, you can change the background from here. So let me change it because the color was not very visible. So let me keep it as the plain background. Okay, so if you go to show menu, and you will see you can change the background, you can view about this particular board, you can see what all details are there in the description. You will see that all the description. Then you have the search card facility from here. You can search the cards directly from here, from the menu. And stickers, right? So stickers, if you'll click, you will get a lot of stickers that you can basically use. So say for example, you want to add the sticker from here, you can simply just drag and drop to the sticker on the work item or the task, and that will be added on the task there. Okay, so that's about the stickers. Next is around the automation, which I'll cover in separate tutorial. If you go to more, you will see that you have this archived item. So if you'll go to the archived item, you should go to the details. So if you switch to the lists, you will see the list that we archived. Okay, if you want to send that particular column back to the board, you can click on send to board, and that particular list will be, or the column will be added back to the board. Okay, let me remove it, and you will see it is back on the, if you want to switch to cards, you will see any cards that you have archived will be archived or will be visible here. So how you can archive the card, you can simply right click, okay, and you can see that there is an archive option, and you will see ads has been archived and available here. Okay, so these are some of the options in the menu. Now in terms of your personal work, it's pretty straightforward. Creation of the workspace, creation of the board using any of the template. Either you can create your own workflow using the blank template, or you can simply use the existing template. And if you go to the if you go to this plus sign and then start with the template, you will get a lot of personal templates that you can utilize to manage the personal work within Trello. So let's take one more example of daily task planner, which is very widely used to manage any of the tasks. So you'll simply say use template, and this time I'll remove all of the template cards and click on create. So you'll see that within our workspace now we'll have two boards, right? So one for my video e-course tracking, and the other one is daily task planner, right? So daily task, whatever task generally you need to plan, you just add those here, and then the personal and done, right? So daily task, whatever it is, and whatever personal tasks are there, you can simply create those, and then once they are done, you can move it to done. Okay, or I can add another column here, which I usually do. So I'll say in progress, and then whenever I am actually making some progress on those tasks, I will. So first thing is any daily task, any personal task will go into this column, and then anything which is basically in progress, I'll move it in progress, and things that are done will be moved to done. So this is what helps anyone to manage their daily tasks and use Trello for managing any of the personal work within Trello very easily and efficiently. So project management within Trello is absolutely easy and simple, and as we have discussed in the previous tutorials, there are so many templates that are available according to the usage that you want to use Trello for in your organization. So if you are a marketing team or if you are a HR team, so there are already a lot of templates that are available by default, but in case you do not want to use any of those, you can create your custom workflow or lists basically. So let's quickly go ahead into Trello and understand how you can use Trello for project management. So first thing, I'll go to the workspace, which is the generic workspace I created. And in this workspace, I'll show you some of the examples for project management, for software development, etc. So first thing you have to do is create a workspace. Now, say for example, you are a HR team and you want to manage the HR project. So basically you will first create a workspace and you will then try to find the templates that are relevant for the HR workflow. If not, then within your team, you can define your own workflow. So let's go ahead and see what all templates are available. So in order to see the templates, what you can do is you can simply go to the board. So here you can click on the plus or click on create a board. So if I click on create plus, you will see that I can start with a template, right? So let's go ahead first and check what all templates are available. So click on start with templates, and here you will see all of the templates. So now we are interested into the project management for this one, right? So you will see that HR and operations have separate templates, but as of this tutorial, we are more interested into the project management. So let's go to the project management and see what all default templates are available. So say for example, you'll see here we have client workflow management, we have the project budgeting and time tracking, then we have this project management, right? So this is from the Trello itself. So simple and easy for us to go ahead and start using it. So if you click on this project management template, it will give you a workflow or the list, the process that this particular template will follow, right? So you will see that the project resources, what are the questions, and this is basically what the flow will look like or what the lists will be, and these are some of the tasks within the list. So to do, pending, blocked, and done, right? So very simple workflow. Now in this workflow, if say for example you do not want any of the columns to be there, you can remove it, or you can archive it, and you can add your own column. So this is one of the template. If we go to project management, you will see a lot of other templates available as well. So let me quickly walk you through. So for example, government project management, right? So great people creating these templates and sharing basically, right? So you can see video production if you are doing, so you can directly go ahead and use any of these templates that are available in the project management section, okay? Or you can simply click on start with a blank board, wherein you will be creating a blank board altogether, then you will be creating the lists and the tasks, okay? So for now, let's quickly go ahead and start with this project management template that is from the Trello marketing team. As you can see, it is very widely used, right? So we'll simply use the template, and to use it, simply say use the template. Okay, now we have to choose the title for this particular project. So for example, I will simply say just add RCV project management, and then wherever you want to use this template. So basically we want to use it in the RCV Academy workspace, which is generic workspace that I'll be using for most of the examples. So this board will be workspace visible, so it will be visible in this workspace. And if you want, you can keep the cards that are available on this template for your reference. You can delete them later, and you can keep the template cards as well. Okay, then you have this activity and members will not be copied to the new board. So we'll simply keep the cards to give you an example and show you how the cards and templates will look like. So simply click on the create, and once you click on create, it will create the board within that particular workspace. Okay, so let's go to so it has redirected us already, and now you will see this is what the RCV project management board, which is the name that we have provided, will look like, and with all of these lists, right? So these columns that you see are known as lists in Trello, and the work item that you see, or the items that you see, if you click on these are the tasks that need to be done. So say for example, if I go to the to-do work, right? So sketch site banners. So say for example, there is a project for which there is a task that needs to be done, which is sketching the site banner. Then the task has been created and the label design team has been added. And now how these labels have been added, I have already explained in the previous tutorial, but I'll quickly walk you through. So these are the labels that are by default available as part of this template, right? So you can edit these labels. So using the template, what it helps is you keep whatever you need and then you delete or archive whatever you don't need. So you do not have to do all the work from the ground up. Basically, you do not have to create a blank board and then create everything from the scratch. So you have the columns. Now say for example, I do not want any of the columns here, right? So I can say, for example, this one. I mean, most probably you'll need pending, but I'm just showing you an example. So I can simply go to this card here, right, or the list, click on the ellipsis there, and then archive this list. If I'll click on archive, the list will be hidden, right? So it will be archived and it won't be available anymore. Say, for example, I want to have another list with the name in progress, right? So I can add that in progress and click on add list and then move this list after to do. So we have to do in progress, and then if there is something which is blocked or some card that is blocked, that needs to be moved into the blocked column, and once the work is done, it will go into the done column. So say for example, a person within the team, so who is responsible for designing the site banner or sketching the site banner, what you will do is you'll simply open the card as a project manager and search for the member. So there is only one member. Let's see, there are no other members, so we need to invite. So as of now, say for example, I assign this task to the member that is available here. We'll simply assign it and then close it, right? Now, as part of this work item, once the person has been assigned this work, they'll start working. So they'll move the card to in progress, right? Once the work has been done, they'll open the card and will update. So if there is something comment that they need to add, say for example, please review the work, right? And save the comment. So this comment has been saved. Also, as part of the comment, they can also just put @ and then they can also mention the people that are there in the team, right? So at the moment I'm just mentioning the same person who is there because there is just one user, but there will be more users. So say for example, then the person can mention the name. So say for example, if I'll say the name of the person, then save it, then that person will be basically notified that someone has mentioned you on a particular card that you need to go ahead and review. So you can get the notification, please review the work, and you can review this banner work that they have done. They can also attach the screenshot. So say for example, from the computer they can attach the screenshot, or from other locations. So you have the integration from Google Drive, Dropbox, etc. So you can attach the work that needs to be reviewed, and you can provide the description in the description detail to save it. Okay, there are a lot of formatting help options that are available. So you can go to the formatting help and you can see how you are going to create the, say for example, lists, or how to, you know, bold, create the bold or add the bold. Say for example, if you just say ***, right, and then just say bold, so this, if you save, that will be saved as bold. So simply what you need to do is, the best way to see all the help is go to the formatting help, and everything is available here. There is no need to memorize each and everything as such. So you will see, once you start using Trello, you will see once or twice, if you refer to this particular list, you will be good enough, or you'll have all the knowledge that is required to do the bold or create the lists, etc. Okay, so that's about the description. Then in the labels, I've already discussed, you can add more labels as required. So once the work has been basically completed and reviewed, then this person will move this card to done, right? So this is the normal usual flow in any of the project, right? So there is a work that needs to be done. The work gets assigned to the person that will be doing that particular work, and once that person starts the work, once they complete, they will get it reviewed, they'll add the logs or attachments, and once the work has been done, they'll move it to done. If the work gets blocked, then they block the work, or move the work item to the blocked column, right? So this is a brief, sort of a workflow that you can get, or project management workflow that you can get directly out of the template. Okay, in case you are not happy with all of the details that are there in this particular template, what you can do is you can simply create a new board, which is basically a blank board. So say for example, I'll say blank board this time. So RCV project management blank board in this particular workspace, and I'll create a board, right? So, and here in the right hand side, this is the color coding or the background that will be picked up. So let me pick this particular color and click on create board. So in this particular case, you will see it is a blank board altogether. So there is nothing as such that is being added. So you can now start creating the list, right? So you can say there is a to do, right, column, right? Or we can say backlog column, and then to do, and then something like in progress, blocked, and done, right? So just a basic sort of workflow list that you have created, and now from here you can start adding the work item or the cards, right? So say for example, design logo, you can add the card, okay? Then design banner, okay? So something like that. And then if you open this work item or the card, then you can add the label. So by default these labels are there, the color coding, you can edit and you can select the color and the name of the color, right? So say for example, this is the design, all the design tasks will be added this particular label, right? So I'll simply say design and then add this particular label to this particular task, right? So this is how the label will be added, okay? Then in the checklist, you can create a checklist of the items. So say for example, designing the logo will require a lot of simple or mini items within this particular task. So I can simply say subtasks, okay? And then within the subtask, I'll say research other logos, say for example, just hypothetically, okay? And then discuss with designer. So these two subtasks are part of this whole design logo. So all of the subtasks or the mini items, work items will be added as a checklist. Then once the work will be done, the person who is doing the work will be basically updating this checklist, right? And will be moving the work further, okay? So say for example, this work has been done, they'll come back and check it, and you will see the progress will be marked. Once the work has been done, it will be completed, and then they'll basically move it. So you'll see that checklist appears, 2 of 2 items have been completed, and basically prior to updating the checklist, they'll move it to, first it will be moved to do, then they'll move it to in progress, then they'll update the checklist, right? So then they'll mark this work as done once the work has been done, and then the work will be, finally the card will be moved to done. So there are a lot of customization that will be required in terms of designing this whole workflow. So basically list creation, then labels, checklist, then you can assign the dates, so due date, etc. So that will be from the dates. Attachment is from any of the work item that needs to be done. As I discussed, you can attach the work item or the file or any of the requirements that need to be attached there, okay? And then if you want to add the cover, right? So cover is something, if I'll say for example, add this particular cover to this card, right, to this work item, you will see how this is how the cover will look like, okay? Personally, I do not use, these sort of, cover a lot, because it looks a lot, better with just text, the work item there, okay? So this is brief about the project management process and how you can use the template within Trello to do project management, or you can create the blank sort of board and then use that board to create your own workflow, which is basically lists in Trello, and add the cards and progress your work for the project management. The other important thing as a project manager is whenever you are creating a board, you want to invite, you will be having a team, right? So to invite the team here, you simply click on invite and invite the team members, right? So say for example, here I will simply add the emails of the team member, right? And then send invitation, and these members will now be notified, and once they join the team, all of these members will be available or able to join this particular team, right? So now if I say for example, go to, let's say I'll create another card, okay? Let's say go to design banner, and I want to comment someone or mention someone. So if I'll say @John, right? So start with John, it will just automatically search the matching names, and then I can specify the comment, so that person will be notified once the comment will be made, right? So that person will be automatically notified. So you'll see the members, whosoever are the members of the team, will be basically available in the team. Okay. Nowadays, most of the organizations are following either Scrum or Kanban, which is a framework for doing the software development projects and delivering the value to your customers very early and often, right? So Scrum is more suitable for the teams who are doing products or product development, wherein you have the defined requirements and your releases are being targeted, every month or 3 months, depending on the requirement of the organization and the customers. Now Kanban is more for the software development as well, but then it is more suitable for the teams that are into the continuous flow of work. Say for example, they are getting the IT support sort of tickets that need to be done. So in this particular tutorial, I'm going to cover the software development approach, or how you can use Trello and create the boards within Trello to do either the Scrum or the Kanban, right? So we are going to use some of the out of the box templates that are available, and they are really good templates. So the first thing is, you do not need to create the boards within Trello from the scratch. If you want to, you can definitely, but then there are already good templates that are available that we can take out of the box and then install those or add those and start using it. And we can archive the cards or the list that we do not want later, right? So let's see what all options are there in terms of the board. So I am here in the iOS workspace, right? So say for example, this is one of your team who are responsible for developing the iOS apps for the projects, right? Now this team will be either using Scrum or Kanban. Now say for example, if it is a software development team, then most probably the companies are following the Scrum. So let's see what all templates are available, right? So in order to start creating their work and managing the work with the Scrum framework, they will simply go to the boards, right? And here I will provide the title for the board. So I'll say iOS Scrum board. So we'll start with the Scrum. Okay. And then we'll simply click on start with the template, and let's see what all templates are available. Okay. So usually you will get the Scrum template in the engineering section of the template. So go to the engineering section, and here you will see that we have the Scrum board, we have the Kanban template, right? And you have this software development from other teams as well. So these are some of the shared engineering templates that you can directly use. You have this agile sprint board template, which is directly from the Trello engineering team. So if you click on this one, you will see the agile sprint board automatically you will be able to directly use it, right? So you have the backlog, sprint backlog, in progress, etc. So say for example, I want to go ahead and use this particular one. Okay, so I can go ahead and use this template and then provide the name of this particular sprint board. Okay, so let me add this, and I will say agile sprint board, and then I will remove the cards and remove the template cards, because for our project I'll be required to create the new card. So I will simply remove it until we are just figuring out or basically learning the different possibilities with this particular board. So we'll simply go ahead and create this particular board. So now you can see that the board has been created. Okay, and I think I chose the board to be created in the CV Academy. So let me go to the iOS and create a board in this one. Okay, so I'll start with the template, go to engineering. So usually when you click on use template, you have to make sure within the workspace you have to choose whichever workspace wherever you want to create this. So I want to create this in the iOS team. I'll uncheck this, these keep cards and keep template cards, and click on create. So now the sprint board will be created in this iOS project. And similarly, there is another Scrum template that we will create in the same project. So I'll quickly go there so that we can understand the differences between both of these. And this is highly customizable, right? So as per the need of your project, you can go ahead and remove the list or the workflow, customize the workflow that is shown there. Okay, so this is another good one from Trello, the Scrum process, and this has the complete flow of actual Scrum process, and will be having the power-ups that will be very useful. And I'll cover a separate tutorial on the power-ups and how you can use power-ups to make your Trello boards even more productive, right? So here, if you see, I have removed the cards. Okay, so usually the Trello board that you'll see, and in the Scrum process, the overall process is any product that needs to be built or delivered, the overall requirement get into the backlog in the form of the user stories or epic, right? So the big items will be created as the card and they'll be created as an epic. So say for example, this is epic 1, right? And all of the details will be basically need to be entered in the description. If there is a checklist that need to be added, all of that will be added. The due date, if required, any attachment in terms of requirement or screenshot or the wireframe, etc., need to be added. You can add those on the card, right? And then that's how the backlog will be basically created within Trello, right? So in the general software development lifecycle, whosoever the team is using Scrum, they'll follow that whole backlog structure there, and all the work item that needs to be delivered, say for example in 3 to 6 months down the line, that those work items will be added here as part of the cards here, right? So that's how you will keep adding the work item in the backlog. Now the next process or the next thing in the software development team that are using Scrum, they will then have the sprint planning session, right? So during the sprint planning, they'll have the sprint, they'll discuss what all work item they can basically pick and put into the sprint planning. Now in the backlog, you will have the big work items, usually epic. They need to be refined and broken down into the smaller pieces of work, which is basically user stories, right? So usually, say for example, here you have some epics, and then you have broken down the tasks into the user stories, right? So you can simply, have the card for the stories, right? So you can say story which is achievable into 2 to 4 weeks cycle. Then that story, say for example, needs to be picked up for development, right? So once that is defined, all the dependencies, everything has been determined and added, all the details along with the acceptance criteria has been added in the description with all of the requirement in terms of the wireframe or any other details that need to be added. Then those are then added into the sprint backlog so that team can start working on that, right? Then that work item will be assigned to the team member or multiple team members depending who is working on that item. If only one member is working, you just assign the member who's working, and that's where the work will basically start, right? So within the sprint backlog, whatever the capacity of the team will be, they will pick those many items from the product backlog, which is the backlog section from here, and this will be a big sort of work item or the list of work that needs to be completed in 3 to 6 months down the line. And as the refinement will keep happening for this work item, then each sprint the team will spend some time in refining so that they can break down the work into smaller user stories. Those can be picked up in the next sprint. So the sprint, whichever the sprint is working on currently, the work item will be moved to sprint backlog, and the next refined stories for the next sprint will be moved to the next sprint, right? So from backlog they'll move to the next sprint, so that once this particular sprint work gets completed, then they can work the work item that is available there for the next sprint, right? So once the work item is in the sprint backlog, it has been assigned to the person. The person will then go ahead and, so basically the devs will start working. So the person will be the dev, they'll start working, coding. Once the work has been completed, completed, the story will be moved to the code review. Once the code review has been completed, the working copy of the software or the application has been deployed in test environment, then this particular card will be moved to testing, and then the person will basically edit the card and assign the card to the tester. So there will be more people here in the team, so this card will then be assigned to the tester. And similarly, if this code review is happening by other person, the person will assign to the developer will assign to the reviewer. And once the review has been done, code has been deployed, will move to the testing, and the card will be assigned to the test team member. Okay, then once the card is done, then you will move it to the done sprint and it will be completed, right? So here you need to specify, or you need to edit in this particular list. You need to edit the date of the sprint. So usually whichever sprint you are following or the timeline you are following, the key thing is that you follow, or you start the sprint and end the sprint on a consistent basis. So if you are starting on Monday and ending on Friday every 2 weeks, that's what the rhythm that needs to maintain, right? So that's where you will specify the date of the sprint that has been completed. And once the sprint has been completed, then you can either archive this particular list, okay, and you can simply say copy this particular list, okay, and whichever sprint has been completed, then you can say done sprint and you specify the date, and then you start with the next sprint that needs to be done. And in the next sprint, whatever work item that is there in the next sprint card, in the next sprint list, that will be moved to sprint backlog, so that team will again start working in the current sprint and follow the same process, right? So if you see this particular workflow or the list that are there is very, very good in terms of, or has a very good correlation to the actual working process of the Scrum, and has everything that you need to use Trello for your software development team that are using Scrum. Right, so this is basically how you are going to use the existing template for managing work within your teams that are doing software development using Scrum. Okay, now if we go to this agile sprint board, okay, now here, because we don't need this, how to use this board, because I haven't included the existing card, right? So I'll simply archive that, right? And now this is what my board will look like. And along with this board, there are a lot of automation or basically agile tools that are available, right? So these agile tools you will get from Trello. So if you create you just sign in, then you will be able to get the agile tools. There is a GitHub integration, and this is all power-ups that I'll be covering in a separate tutorial. Okay, so this is about this particular board. Now if I go to the official Trello board, which is agile sprint board, it is something similar that you will see, right? You have the backlog, which is the work item that needs to be done in 3 to 6 months, and then you have the sprint backlog, then in progress, and basically complete, sprint complete. So this is very basic. Usually what you will do is, in my case, I usually have the done, so sprint complete column, then we have this testing, and we need to have the in review as well, right? Because usually once the development will start, okay, so say for example you have the sprint backlog, then developer picks up, they will then move the card to in progress, okay, then the card will be moved to in review. Then once the review has been completed, then the card will be moved to testing, and after in review it will be in testing, and then there will be complete or done. Okay, so basically, say for example sprint with this particular date completed, that will be completed. After that you can either archive that particular column, or you can just keep adding the completed sprint, and other completed sprints will be just moved next. Okay, so it will be all visible here, and that's how you can utilize the templates that are available and use those for the software development within your team, for the teams that are following Scrum. Okay, we have learned about the Scrum templates that are available. We have understood how you can use those templates and then customize the workflow, and manage the flow of work for the software development teams that are using Scrum. Now Kanban, as I explained in previous tutorial as well, is more suitable for the teams that manage the work or the continuous flow of work. So say for example, you have the IT support team, right? So they continuously get the work item into the queue, and those work item or the task need to be completed on a regular basis, and then there is a priority assigned, and then there is a work in progress limit that is also attached to the work items, and that's how they manage the flow of work through the Kanban, right? Now within Trello, there are Kanban templates as well. So in the same iOS team workspace, I will go ahead and click on add the board. Okay, so this is just a warning to show you that free version of Trello will only support 10 free boards in a workspace. Okay, so we are at 3, which is all good. So we'll click on start with the template, and let's search what all Kanban templates are available. Okay, so if you go to the engineering section of the templates, you will get Scrum and Kanban templates there. So anything for the software development, you will see that Scrum board we have already understood, right? And we have understood about this agile sprint board. You can use either of these if you are doing the Scrum, if you're using Scrum framework, and Kanban template, which is from the Trello engineering team, will use that Kanban template. So we'll click on that and let's import this or use this particular template. Okay, this is really good template, and it will really help you to churn out the work within your project very quickly and will be very effective and efficient for your teams. Okay, so click on use template, and let's say keep the name as Kanban template. Let's choose the workspace as iOS. Okay, let's keep the cards this time, and then keep the template card as well, and create this particular board. Okay, so the Kanban board is here now. Okay, so now as you can see that overall the work-wise, the boards have the similarity. So Scrum and Kanban boards will have the similarity, but in the Scrum we follow the time bound or fixed time or the sprints, right? So we have this 2 weeks sort of sprint as development, and then we have fixed set of requirements that we need to deliver in a specific time frame, 3 to 6 months, or we have the set of requirements. But in the Kanban you can have sprints. Teams do sometimes follow the sprint or the time bound sprint as well, but then it is more for the suitable for the teams who are having the continuous flow of work. And how they are going to manage, so they'll have this backlog wherein all the work items, say for example IT support team, they'll get all the work item here in the form of task, right? So say for example, this is example task. There'll be another task that has been raised by the member within the organization. So say for example, laptop reset. Okay, so your work items will be coming up something like that into the backlog. Okay, now if say for example design and research is required, you keep it. If it is not, then you can simply go ahead and archive this particular column and you won't be able to see it, right? Similarly, you have this to do, then you have doing, code review. After say for example you are working on the item that is there in the backlog, right? So say for example this task, there is no design and research that is required, that can directly be moved or assigned to someone to work on, then will be moved to do and assigned to a team member, say for example. Okay, once the task has been assigned, that team member will start working on that particular task. Okay, so that team member will pick the task and move it to doing as the person is working. And once the person has found the solution and they have fixed it, they will provide their description here, say fixed or something, and provide all the details, right? Then if there is any comment or review that is required, they'll provide the comment and mention someone, say for example please review. So say for example please review. Okay, and save it. So this person will get notified that this particular work item needs to be reviewed. Okay, now once this particular work item has been done and needs review, the person will move it to code review and assign it to the person who needs to review this. So John needs to review it. So what this developer will do is they will remove themselves and they will add this card, or they will assign this card, right? So now John will get notified because the person has also commented John in the comment section, and also the card has been assigned. Okay, so now this person will review this particular code, everything fine, then that card will be moved to testing. Once the deployment happen, then this card will say, for example, needs to be tested by the person Rama, then the card will be assigned to Rama, and once the testing has been done, everything looks good, then the card will be moved to done, right? So this is the flow of work that you will see into the Kanban. Okay, so this is the Kanban board, and this is the template that you can directly use out of the box from the Trello team and start using it. Pretty well designed and a nice template. The other important thing within this particular Kanban to remember is that there is a concept of work in progress limits, right? So within Kanban, how do you manage the flow of work? So you have the work in progress limit that at this particular stage or at this particular state in the workflow, say for example in the code review or in the doing column, there shouldn't be more than 4 work items. So if you see here, right, so you will see set list limit, right? So I can set the list limit for this particular column here, right? So the limit was 3, but there were 4 columns, and you can see the card, the detail of this particular card, the color has changed already. If I change it to 4, okay, save it, now you will see there is no warning as appeared. So within Kanban, it is important to manage your work effectively. You need to have this work in progress limit set at the levels or at the list level or at the states, right? So say for example in the doing, if you have 6-member team, then once each member has assigned or taken up the task, then they can't have the another task assigned to themselves until the work has been completed, right? So until that task has been moved to other state. So you can specify the work in progress limit by just clicking on the ellipses in that particular list or the column and clicking on the set list limit and specify the limit. Okay, so this is the usual practice that is usually followed in the Kanban boards. Okay, so this is how you will be managing your work or managing the software development work or the IT support work using the Kanban board within Trello.